One of the greatest qualities a content creator can have is pause for dramatic effect and to allow enough time for the audience to think of my question. Foresight. Foresight is the ability to predict, or the action of predicting, what will happen or be needed in the future. And as you can see from the state of my office, I have been scavenging for something. I should have had the foresight to keep my journals. I have been scrambling to find my Panda planner. That's where I wrote my goals at because I wanted to use them for this episode. But if I remember correctly, at some point I threw them away, not remembering that I was going to share with you my goals at the end of the year as a recap. I do remember a few of them, 3 of them to be exact, and I do know that I came up way, way short on each one of them, and that's why I want to collaborate with you today. Number 1 was to win a world championship in jiu-jitsu. If you've been following for a while, you know the sheer amount of work that I put into leading up to that tournament. 4 or 5 months out, the sheer amount of training I was going through was pretty nuts. I felt amazing, the best I've felt in recent years, and extremely confident with my chances in winning that tournament. However, 4 weeks before the tournament started, tragedy struck. Ended up hurting my neck, and I had to pull out of that tournament. Trying as hard as you can and coming up short, getting beaten and losing is one thing, but not being able to compete at all is something entirely different. And truthfully, it hurt me deep. It hurt me deep, Shrek. It was a really hard thing to mentally get around after that had happened. Number 2, hit 100,000 subs on YouTube. I'm not sure if you knew this, but if you hit 100,000 subs, YouTube will give you a plaque commemorating your achievement. Why this is so important to me might be different than what you think. It has nothing to do with the income, the potential raise of income that comes from achieving that. It has nothing to do with the vanity. It has to do with that 100,000 subs simply can't be bought. It's not a blue check mark on Instagram. It's not bots that you can buy for Instagram or the other social platforms. It is extremely difficult to hit 100,000 subs. And that is why it's important to me, because it is a challenge and it's something that defines success on this platform. And then outside of that, it's being able to provide a wider swath of people with valuable content. And that's the whole point of why I started doing YouTube in the first place. Number 3 is make $100,000. Now, before I jump into this, let me just say, I understand how much money that is. It is far, far more than the average person in the world makes. And I am insanely grateful for what I have. I know how amazing YouTube is as a job, a full-time job. I couldn't ask for a better job, honestly. I don't have a boss. I can kind of come and go as I please. I make my own hours. I work from home. It means more family time. I understand how lucky I am, and I am super grateful. It's simply kind of like the hitting 100,000 subs on YouTube. It's something that has been set in my brain for so long as an impossibility, something that's so darn difficult. A long time ago, I wrote down 3 goals that were all financial that I thought were kind of impossibilities when I made them. I had just started working for myself, and I was I was struggling hard with money. And the 3 goals I wrote down was make $1,000 in a day, make $10,000 in a month, and make $100,000 a year. These just seemed like huge boundaries, like I would never achieve it. But I've been able to do the former 2. All that is left is the 100K. And I came up way, way short this year. So is 2023 an epic failure? I think if I looked at my entire year with these 3 goals in mind and rated it or judged it purely off a pass-fail system, then yeah, it'd be a failure. But I also think that's probably the most foolish way you could look at things. There are obviously many successes that I've had throughout this year, experiences that I've had that I will look fondly back at and cherish. There was my solo road trip, the effort that I put into training for the World Championship, my accidental half marathon, buckling down hard and being consistent about making high value content and videos for you guys. I got to shoot a licensed Star Trek feature. This is another year of being a full-time YouTuber. And after trying for the last 4 years, I was able to make content for Whoop. Speaking of Whoop, I know that you know that I've been a member for 4 years, 1,272 days of using Whoop to be exact. I use the hell out of Whoop. The journal and the weekly performance assessments specifically have been instrumental in helping me accomplish my physical goals. There are obviously a ton of other features that I use a ton. Speaking of which, did you know Whoop has an amazing feature that they showcase at the end of the year? It is the Whoop Year in Review. And I just got mine and I want to share it with you. So at the end of the year, Whoop takes all of the data that you have accrued, everything that you have input, and turns it into this really awesome end of the year recap animation. And it gives you a lot of insight as to where you were really strong and what things you kind of came up short on. And I think it actually can make your goal setting for the next year a little easier. For me, and this is honestly no surprise, where I really came up short was on sleep. As you can see, I'm just an average sleeper, and because of it, I had way too many days outside of the green recovery, so something I need to focus on. But something super cool that I didn't know, I was in the top 7% for strain, so I know my effort is good. Along those lines, something that did catch me off guard was that I am not spending nearly enough time suffering. That's right. Training in Zone 5 was by far the lowest amount of training that I did, and I really need to ramp that up. I think it's going to serve me not only from a cardiovascular fitness standpoint, but it's going to help me in the latter rounds of doing jiu-jitsu at World Champs. Pretty rad stuff. I can't thank Whoop enough for partnering with me over these last few months so that I can show you some of the coolest, newest Whoop features, and definitely the end of the year recap is one of the coolest features Whoop offers. Oh, one final thing. Right now you can try Whoop free for 1 month. That's right, you can test it out for 1 month. To do so, to take advantage of this offer, just click the link in the description. All right, let's get back to the goal setting. Okay, at the start of the video I said I made a bunch of goals. I remembered 3 of them, but these 3 goals were already kind of doomed from the get-go, and here is why. And listen carefully, because when you make your goals for 2024, this is going to help tremendously. The error was made by making outcome-based goals. Outcomes like hitting 100,000 subs or winning world champs is not always entirely under your control. There are lots of variables that go into 100,000 subs and winning a world champ. Plus, I think outcomes are rarely the things that actually enrich our lives, and I don't think they are the missing pieces, the things that we need to feel happier. What you really need are the skills like consistency, tenacity, resilience, discipline, to which those outcomes are predicated on. Is there anything wrong with making the goal hitting 100,000 subs on YouTube? No, of course not. But if I made the goal to put out the most incredible 100 videos, well, that's something I can actually control the outcome to. I can make those 100 videos. Plus, those 100 valuable videos are the building blocks of what gets you to 100,000 subs. So, for 2024, when you make your goals, let's not make some outcome-based goals. Instead, let's make goals that focus on the process, the skills that you need to eventually hit the outcomes that you want. I hope that makes sense. Before I go, I have to say thank you. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for allowing me to share my thoughts in these videos on this platform. I'm insanely grateful for you all. Also, if you liked the video, please do me a huge favor. Make sure you hit the like button and consider subscribing. We've got some really awesome videos going into 2024. I've got a few more for 2023. I hope you enjoy those as well. And until then, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.